Well, hello everybody out there in Atlanta. This is Chris from MajorLegacy.com with another exciting episode of Topher's Log. Well, Halloween Horror Nights 31 opening weekend is in the books. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I didn't actively vlog the entire weekend. A couple of reasons there, a couple of things. Of course, Friday with the media thing, it was a little bit chaotic and stuff like that, and I just didn't have the drive. There was a bunch of crap that went on opening night, not just with the media thing, but also some things in my personal life that was it was a roller coaster of emotions for opening weekend. Of course, also too with my heightened anxieties and things of that nature. It's like I said on social media, it's kind of a personal miracle that I'm even at the event this year, just because my anxiety level is just through the roof these days. It is what it is. I am trying to pace myself and to get around some of that stuff. First time in my 23-year history, I upgraded my pass to include Express. I've never once in my life bought Express, but I think it's going to help this year with some of my anxiety, so I'm not, crammed in with a bunch of people, in close proximity for long periods of time. Just being consumed by all that stuff. Mentally, at least I can. With the Express, I can sort of go at my own pace, and, I know Express still has a little bit of a wait, sometimes longer than others in certain houses, but at least for the most part, it's less time, and, I could just sort of move at my own pace this year. I don't have to, I can linger in a scare zone or two and just kind of take pictures and sort of soak it all in, and then, at a certain point, just go, I want to go do this house, and then, use the Express as opposed to start picking and choosing which ones I can do for one night. So it is what it is. So I think that will help a great deal this year, especially with my heightened anxieties. And again, I was starting to say, opening night was kind of a roller coaster of emotions. There was a lot of stuff that went on. The media event and the RIP tour, all that stuff is always a crazy time. It's always chaotic. There's a lot of walking, a lot of you're kind of forced to do everything on their schedule. I am always used to doing things at Halloween Horror Nights at my own pace. It is what it is, but it's a fun time, and again, thank you to Universal and Halloween Horror Nights for inviting me out. They did give us a box. We got a swag box back there, that Never Go Alone box that you see back there. I don't know if you can read that, but it says Never Go Alone up there. There was a bunch of stuff in there. There was a shirt, lanyard, some socks, things of that nature. It was, last year they sent us like a shirt, in the mail. They didn't physically give us boxes last year, or a swag bag, or a swag box in this case. They did this year, so that's fun. So I apologize again. I didn't actively vlog, but I did take a lot of video. You can see all that stuff here. I did film in all the houses. You can pick your poison on how you want to watch that stuff. I did one that has all 10 in one. One video plus. You can watch them individually. I did drop my vlogging camera. This is my newer vlogging camera. I did drop it this year. Funny enough, last year during the media thing, I also dropped my vlogging camera. But this one is a little bit more of a delicate camera, so I really hope that this even comes out. I don't know how it's going to come out because it didn't hit the ground that hard, but it did fall pretty good. Right before we went into Universal Monsters, I dropped it. I was sort of changing out cameras. And I dropped it. So we will see. We'll see how it goes moving forward. My other camera, my new Nikon, I had Ruby for many years. Those who follow me for a long time know that I had a normal DSLR that was red, so I called it Ruby. I upgraded to a Nikon Z mirrorless camera, to sort of, just get an upgraded camera because I love photography. I love to take pictures. So I wanted to upgrade my camera this year for Halloween Horror Nights. So I got that, and that is the one that I used to film inside the houses with and stuff like that. I think the video came out a little bit better this year. I shot Hellblock Horror on my phone, just because I was having a little bit of an issue with the camera at the time. So I had to just pull up my phone and shoot it. So that one looks a little bit different because I had to shoot that one with my phone. So apologies for that as well. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about opening weekend. So these are first impressions. Of course, everything will change. It's Halloween Horror Nights. Things ebb and flow. I always generally tell people that Halloween Horror Nights doesn't really find its footing until about the second week. That's kind of when they have most of the things ironed out that didn't quite work the first weekend or the first week. They're constantly adding, taking things away, changing tactics, things of that nature. That is just how Halloween Horror Nights operates. So, it is what it is. So these are just first impressions. And of course, opening night with the RIP tour, and filming in the houses, you're trying to take everything in, but still trying to film, and so there's you're not really as focused as you probably should be. So again, these are just first impressions. I did do a couple of the houses again on Saturday, so I didn't do all of them again on Saturday. So these, like, again, first impressions. Things will change. Things will change as we move forward throughout the course of the event. It's a long event time. It is what it is. So let's talk a little bit about the houses. Now, the houses are fine this year. They're very strong houses. There is one house that I think, for me personally, didn't really kind of add up. But I'm going to preface this with saying it's the first house that we did on opening night. I was still trying to get accustomed to filming with my new camera and stuff like that. So that could also play a factor in this as well. But at that same time, Descendants of Destruction is currently at my number 10 position. I didn't really kind of get the flow in here. It was kind of weird. It is very loud. It is very chaotic. It's one of those types of things. A lot of black light this year and a lot of strobes. So if you have a sensitivity to strobes this year, there's a lot of strobes. There's a lot of strobes in the houses this year. Lighting as a whole this year is kind of a little weird to me. There's a little bit, especially in the scare zones, things are a little bit darker than normal, and the houses are a little bit darker than normal. So, so that's a thing. And also, I've noticed a trend at the end of the houses, and this one, Descendants of Destruction is the same thing. Like the last rooms have a lot of there's rooms that have things in walls. There's like glowy things in walls, for a lot of like the last rooms of houses. So Descendants has it as well. And also there's the last sort of room here there has the fully mutated, people with the blacklight stuff, a little bit Dead Exposure, Patient Zero especially, sort of vibes going on in there. But I didn't really feel like this one was all that scary or frightening. It was very dark. It was very loud. So currently at my number 10. Number 9 is going to be The Horrors of Blumhouse. I was really looking forward to Blumhouse this year because I like both films. I was a little disappointed in the lack of Freaky in here. I thought there was a lot more Black Phone, which is fine, because I like Black Phone as well. But I think I'm just a little bit disappointed that Freaky wasn't, or at least to me, it seemed like Freaky was not as represented as the Black Phone was. The Black Phone seemed to have a lot more of the house. Overall, still a good house. I think probably the strongest Blumhouse house that we've had so far. The weird of the house is the break. There is the break between Freaky and the Black Phone, where you go outside briefly and then go into the Black Phone. So it does kind of feel like two separate houses, even though it's not two separate houses, it's one house. But that's just them using the space because they have to utilize that space. It's a brand new space. And it's why nerds like me with Horror Nights get all excited because we want to see how they do some of this stuff. So that is kind of how they did the Blumhouse thing. It was a little jarring at first. You're like, oh man, are we done? And like, no, we're just going outside and going into the other part. Overall, though, Blumhouse, it was good. I think I'm just a little bit disappointed that Freaky was not as represented. So coming in at number 8, Spirits of the Coven. I know this one's getting a lot of hate online. The main problem with Spirits of the Coven for me is that the story wasn't really there. It was kind of confusing. I didn't really understand what was actually going on in here. It didn't really convey what the actual story was, which is the whole bootlegging of the blood and stuff like that, and for the Witch's Brew. According to that's what the description says, and that's what they talk about online. But the story didn't really come across in here. Now, that being said, I do think that the sets are great. This house actually had one of the best scares of the night for me on opening night, which is the mine cart. I was not expecting the mine cart. The mine cart got me pretty good in there. Very atmospheric, very moody. Again, one of the final rooms has all the walls with the lighty things, embedded in the walls. So there's that. Overall, a good house. Just not. I think I wanted a little bit more in here as well. I think it was missing a little bit of something. It was just weird. Like the whole there weren't a whole lot of witches in there either. Like from what we saw, there was a lot more male figures represented in there. They were like possessed or whatever. So that again, the storyline just didn't really convey as well as I think I wanted it to, and it kind of brought the house down for me. But still, solid house, great design. Great to look at, stuff like that. But overall, a little bit lacking. Number 7, Bugs Eaten Alive. This is a little bit more of the comedy house for the year. It's kind of a like I alluded to before. It is that sort of 50s sort of sci-fi B movie thing going on with the convention and the whole like House of the Future type thing. A lot of really good scares in here. Like I said before, bugs don't bother me, so the bug aspect of it in general is not really something for me to get super jazzed about. I was a little disappointed in the fact that there weren't more bug tricks. I think we were being promised a little bit more, things to simulate bugs in here, and there weren't enough. I was surprised by that. We had the one hallway where it was dark and you had the air and then whatever, and then of course some of the projection mapping and stuff like that, or not projection mapping, but projections on the walls. It is what it is, and of course the people mutating at the end. And the giant bugs, the one guy on the table with the giant cockroach or whatever. But like there wasn't enough to simulate bugs, if that makes any sense. Like I was expecting a lot more bug simulation thing going on, which I was surprised. Because I was expecting a lot more. But still a fun house, really great concept, very loud again, chaotic. Fun house. I was just expecting more actual simulated bug things. It is what it is. So coming in at number 6, Hellblock Horror. Now, we all know the story about Hellblock Horror by now. I love how fucking weird this thing is. It is so bizarre and so weird. I think that they were kind of burying the lead a little bit because when you walk to the house, there's the whole thing about the core, and it's supposed to be like this supernatural prison and so on and so forth. But like I was surprised because from what I gathered, you're at the end of the house, the prison's on a spaceship. That's kind of what I gathered, is that like the prison is like again, I got to go through it again to sort of figure that out, but it looked to me like the prison was supposed to be on a spaceship, which is the whole thing, like how the prison operates, the core itself and stuff like that. Like it's a spaceship. It's like a spaceship prison for monsters, which I thought was kind of interesting. Yeah, and it was weird and very chaotic, very dark, and lots of jump scares coming at you, at different angles. I was surprised. Now, I'm not saying that Hellblock Horror is designed great or anything like that. I just really loved the vibe in here. Like I said, it's fucking weird, and I love the fucking weirdness of it. And how and what it actually is, like, sort of chaotic nature to it. And I wonder if that sort of carried over from the fact that they just kind of had to do everything very quickly. That sort of, you could feel that in this house, and I think it worked for the house. To be honest with you, it worked for the house for me. It is what it is. I just love how weird this thing is. It was kind of what I was expecting and kind of not what I was expecting at the same time, especially with the whole weird sci-fi alien spaceship thing going on in there. Like I was not expecting that part with it, and I love it for it. So coming in at number 5 is going to be The Weeknd. Like I've said before, I don't know that much about The Weeknd, so I wasn't really, super jazzed to, or I'm going to say jazzed, but I wasn't excited for the house. This house is a lot of fun. There's a lot of, and like I alluded to, they did have that, I said, I would be surprised if that one little part that he did at the Super Bowl wasn't in this house. It's in the house. Of course it is. So there's that. But this house is a lot of fun. There's a lot of like really cool imagery going on there. It's again very weird, very strange, which I like the weirdness. So like I just alluded to with Hellblock Horror, the more that Horror Nights gets weird with things, the more I think I like things. And this house actually has that. It's very strange, very bizarre, very sort of like, what's going on in this guy's head type thing. So I like it for that. Very colorful, of course, takes place in Las Vegas. So there's a lot of really, really vibrant things going on in here. One of the more lit houses, not lit as in, oh my God, lit. You can see things in this house. So, it was more brightly lit than most of the other houses, which of course fits the theme because it's supposed to be colorful. It's Vegas, stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But yes, so very, very gory, of course. A lot of really cool gory images or imagery going on in here. When we went through the house on opening night, we were in the middle of a cast range. So even if you watch the video that I did, like there's a whole part at the end where you could tell that there's supposed to be actors there, but they weren't. because there was a cast change going on. So, I got to go back through it again to see more with the cast, with it filled with the cast than what I did on opening night. We did not do the shows, so I can't speak to the shows. Just like last year, we did not do the shows. But there was an option towards the end of the night. It was like 12:30, and the tour guide asked if anyone wanted to do things again, and most of the group said the weekend. But there was no way by that point I was going to walk all the way, because we were at the front of the park. There was no way I was going to walk all the way back to the back of the park to go do that and then get out of there. So, and I already had to walk back to Cabana Bay anyway. We're going to move on from that. So the weekend, a cool, very cool concept, very cool house, very fun, very colorful, very gory, cool house, very fun. Number 4, Halloween. Halloween, I've said before, I want to see what they do with the sort of expanded sets and stuff like that. This house, in terms of scare factor for me, opening night had the most scares. The most times I got scared or jumped in a house was in Halloween. So, of course, I love Halloween. I've said before, it's not only one of my favorite horror movies, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So anytime I can do Halloween, I'm excited about it. I'm ecstatic. I love the sort of mini nature of, we open on the kill, the young Michael Myers killing his sister, and then you go into that, the very Evil Dead at the event a couple years ago with the John Carpenter's Halloween room with Michael Myers in the see-through wall next to you. I thought all that stuff was great. The house itself was great. Like I said, a lot of really good scares in here. And then that final room I thought was interesting. If you watch the video that I did in Halloween, you can hear there's a bunch of girls behind us who were just screaming when they walked into that room. I love that finale room. It's very, very disorienting, very chaotic, and a great way to end the house. I love this house. This house is very well put together. It's very well designed. Seeing the Myers house inside the soundstage was also very, very neat and fun. For the most part, it is still the same house that we saw back in 2014, which is fine by me. I just wanted, I wanted to see this house in an upgraded space, and they delivered on that for me. And like I said, the best scares of the night on opening night for me was in this house. So coming in at number 3 is going to be Fiesta de Chupacabras. This house is fantastic. I was a little surprised that they used the more sort of the real version of the Chupacabra. Then I think I alluded to that when I was talking about it in the announcement video, or when they announced it. But there's sort of the more mythological cryptid version, which is the scary alien looking one, and then there's like the sort of coyote with mange looking Chupacabra, which a lot of people think is really the Chupacabra. I'm surprised they went that way with this, but it works. Like the sort of giant saber-toothed tigers. That is the garbage truck, by the way. The garbage truck is outside. Of course the garbage truck is outside, because I'm doing a video. So, the giant saber-toothed looking thing I thought was really cool. Again, very fun. You get the feel of the story in here, walking through the village. Another little trend that I noticed with some of the houses too is that, the sort of facades when you walk in, are like city. You can see like over cityscapes and stuff like that, which, there's levels to the sets. You also get that in Dead Man's Pier too. Here in Chupacabra, you get the same thing, walking through sort of that southern, South American sort of village thing with the, with the tops and stuff like that. It's just great. Great feeling here, very fun. I love the Chupacabras in here. I thought they were a lot of fun. There's that one gag that I love with the guy who gets pulled, the dummy, the dead dummy who gets pulled by the Chupacabra. I thought that was great. A lot of really cool gags in here. Again, a couple really good scares too. The Chupacabra itself isn't really what scared me a lot in here. Most of the jump scares came from the actors and stuff like that. And not necessarily the Chupacabra itself. But the Chupacabra design, I love the design of the Chupacabra. Colorful house, sort of representing the culture and stuff like that. Very fun, very funny. It's got like sort of a dark humor going for it. Not necessarily sort of the campy humor. This is more like dark humor, which I kind of enjoyed. So coming in at number 2 is going to be Universal Monsters Legends Collide. A fantastic. This one is competing with my number 1, which should be no surprise at this point. Anyway. this is going to be a battle of which house do I like better in terms of the aesthetics, because this one is, I mean, you feel like you're in like an ancient Egypt dig going on there. This one, of course, follows. I believe it's the Karnak. Is it Karnaki? Is that the mummy character? It's not Boris Karloff's Imhotep. It's the one from the Mummy's Hand, I think. The scares in here are great. The design is great. The actual Universal Classic Monsters design is great in here as well. And I'm a sucker for the Classic Monsters, so it is what it is. But I love this house. I've been through it three times now. I had because at the end of, just like Icons last year, there's going to be a winner at the end of each house. I had the Mummy the first 2 times. I've gone through it twice. I had the Mummy the first time, and then I had Dracula the second time. So I'm waiting on the Wolfman. Come on, Wolfman, win this thing. But overall, great house. Like I said, the set design in here is incredible. This is one of the ones that I was alluding to in the hype video about what I was hearing about how beautiful this house looks and stuff like that. It's just incredible. It went beyond anything that I could have ever imagined in here. And again, more of that sort of those layers, those heightened layers of the sets where you're looking over and you can see sort of perspective over in the distance. I thought there's a couple houses that do that this year, and it works so well. Like I said, a lot of really cool scares, a lot of great special effects in here as well, great lighting. I love this house. So coming in at number 1, of course, so far, Dead Man's Pier. I think I alluded to it in the video, hype video. The stuff that I was hearing about the design of this house, seeing it in person was even. I could not imagine. It was like beyond what I could have imagined what I was being told. This house is gorgeous. This is probably one of the prettiest houses I think I've seen at Horror Nights in a long time, maybe ever. Just the way that it's designed. That opening facade, when you walk to that little village, I felt like I was at Epcot. It was like one of those types of things. Like, oh my God, like what is going on here? Like I hate garbage trucks. Are you done? Just fantastic. Now, of course, yes, they're still using the same costumes that we saw in Dead Man's Wharf, stuff like that. But my God, the design of this house, the feel, the haunting, the coldness, the wet, like the wind, everything just sort of combined with this house. Scares were okay. I didn't really find the scares all that jumpy. Like I said, the biggest scares that I had at the event that night came in Halloween. I've done Halloween twice now. And same thing on the second night. There were a lot of really, really good scares in there, especially when I was more focused. But this one, the scares are fine, but everything else just elevates this. The vibe in here is just so good. Creepy, atmospheric, just overall, I don't think I've seen a house like this in quite some time. There's the garbage truck again. We cannot get away from the damn garbage truck. Like, there's only 2 things over here. What the hell are they doing? But just the whole, the design of this thing, the feel, the context of this is just incredible. It went beyond anything that I was being told about exactly what was happening in here. And I love this house. So, all houses are really solid. And I think a lot of stuff is just going to get better over time. I hope things don't get taken away, but because that does happen sometimes too. Sometimes a house that could be, high up can go down over the course of the event because things are taken away or whatever. That could also be possible with Dead Man's Pier Winter's Wake as well. There's a couple elements in there that I'm like, this might not last the entire event, but I'm glad I got to experience it now. So it is what it is. But overall, solid run of houses so far. Things can only get better. Let's quickly go over the scare zones. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Horrors of Halloween. Your Pumpkin Lord's cool, but this one suffers from, again, it's not lit very well. That's a trend, I think, with most of the scare zones this year, is that things are, the lighting is sort of toned down, which is fine. But this one just kind of feels a little bit bland. It's the sort of entry zone. Pumpkin Lord on the thing is cool. Some of the characters walking around are cool, but it's just the entry zone. It's fine. I do enjoy. I'm sensing a pattern. We're gonna get that sign back every year now, which was, again, they used that sign in the past. Brought it back last year for the 30th, so I guess we're just gonna reuse the sign now again. The Halloween Horror Nights neon sign. It is what it is. So, Horrors of Halloween, number 5. Number 4 is gonna be Conjure the Dark. I love this scare zone. I love the concept of the scare zone. The costumes in here are cool. The show is cool. I haven't really spent all that much time in here, which is why it's a little bit lower. But I love what's going on in here. I love how it's one of those little mini scare zone show thingies going on in here as well. I love Conjure the Dark. Number 3 is going to be Scarecrow. A lot of scare actors in here. A lot of good scares. Very atmospheric. Again, toned down lighting. Things of that nature. I love the false, shed thing with the wood and all that stuff. Like, I love the costumes in here. Again, great zone. Number 2, Deadly Unrest. This one I think benefits a lot from the muted toned down lighting because it adds to the effect of the graveyard. So no qualms there. I love the sort of, again, that sort of ethereal, ghostly thing that's happening with this. Just like in Dead Man's Pier, works very well. Coming in number 1, Sweet Revenge. I love this zone. I think this zone's a lot of fun. I love the music. I love the actors in here. It is definitely the most populated. It's definitely the most populated scare zone in terms of actors and sets and stuff like that. It is the one that they want people to spend the most time in. It's the one they want people to sort of talk to their friends about, take pictures. It is the fun, chaotic zone as New York generally is. But I think they went above and beyond this year with what's going on in New York. I love what's going on here. A lot of really cool costumes too. The baby, the Major Sweets himself. Not exactly what I was picturing in terms of what's drawn on the side of his truck there, because he does walk around. It was awesome, and of course Miss Sweets as well. Great, just great. Great stuff going on in here, especially with the costumes. The Halloween vibe is definitely felt in Sweet Revenge. Did not do the tribute store. The tribute store had a fucking line all Friday and Saturday, so I was not able to get inside the tribute store. That will come at a later time, so I can't really talk about that. Said before, didn't do the shows. I'm probably going to stay away from Halloween Nightmare Fuel for a little bit. At least maybe wait till it's not as busy on a day when it's not as busy. But I do have the Express now, so I think they still do that. You go and sit in the Express seats or whatever. I will do Ghoulish probably this coming Friday or Thursday. We will see how that goes. Overall, I enjoyed my first 2 nights of Halloween Horror Nights. I think the houses are all solid. I think the scare zones especially are all solid. My only gripe with the scare zones, like I said, is the lighting. I think the lighting's a little bit too dark. The park-wide audio this year, a little strange. a little strange. There's definitely more of a sort of electric guitar rock feel going on with some of the music. One song in particular reminds me of the opening theme song to King of the Hill. And I will take that with me the entire event. Literally, every time I hear it, all I think about is the opening to King of the Hill. And I cannot unhear it when I'm there. But yes, so Halloween Horror Nights opening weekend in the books. Had a good time. Like I said, bear with me this year. I am trying to work through some of these anxieties that I have. Still had a lot of fun. It is what it is. If I'm out at the event and you see me, say hello. I can promise that I won't be a little bit more socially awkward than usual if you do say hello, but I will try my best to say hello to everybody that I run into. That being said, thank you everybody for your continued support with this endeavor that I've embarked on since 2011. It's been a long time, and like I said, this year's been rough. So it's nice to be at the event, but I said it's kind of a little bit of a personal miracle that I'm actually there. So, but we're gonna continue to go. It's gonna be fun. So what did you guys think? What are your favorite houses? Scare zones? Did you see the shows? I enjoyed all the houses. Like I said, I enjoyed all the houses for the most part, with the exception of Descendants. I need to go through that house again, just because, like I said, it was the first house that we did on the media night, and I think I was just still wildly overwhelmed, and I have to go through it again when I'm a little bit more calm. So there is that. But like I said, for the most part, all the houses are fine. Some of them are just way better than others. But all the houses are good. Good to excellent. With like Dead Man's Pier and Monsters and Chupacabra. Those are like top tier. Those are like top tier houses for the year. I will be back out, hopefully, this coming weekend for more goodness, more scary fun. I'm having a good time so far, trying to push through the anxiety. We will see how the rest of the event goes. Dead Man's Pier, I cannot emphasize how beyond my expectations were Dead Man. what I was being told about the house and what it looked like and this and that was beyond what even I was being told. The first time I walked in and saw that little village, I was like, oh my God, like I couldn't believe it. And then, going through the ship and the tiers and all that stuff, like I just could not believe what I was looking at because I just wasn't expecting that level, but it was that level. Spirits of the Coven, a little bit really, really quickly. Like I said, it's getting a lot of hate. It's not a bad house. It's got a lot of cool design, cool sets and stuff like that. I think for me personally, it was more about the story. I just wasn't really, I was like, what is even happening here? Like, that was the biggest thing for me. But still a good house. It's a good house. Very atmospheric, and costumes and stuff like that. I was just a little confused in the story. That is all. It is what it is. So that is going to do it for me today, guys. As usual, everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.